Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the SIEW Global Launch sponsored by DNV. I am Elaine and I will be your MC for today. Thank you for joining us here for the launch of the SIEW team. To kickstart today's program, I would like to invite Mr. Phua Kok Keong, Chief Executive of the Energy Market Authority of Singapore, to deliver his welcome remarks. Mr. Phua, please.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Singapore International Energy Week Global Launch 2025. I'm very happy to see so many of you here today. I want to thank DNV Group for their strong support for today's event, and also to Mr. Remy Erickson, where is he, standing behind, DNV Group President and CEO, for joining us today. Last year's SIEW welcomed over 18,000 delegates from around the world. It was among our biggest turnout and provided a vibrant atmosphere of collaboration and innovation. To our partners and sponsors who made this possible, your support has been invaluable. For SIEW 2025, I am delighted to share that we have decided on the theme of envisioning energy tomorrow, building systems today. All of us and every country must act now to build secure, sustainable, and affordable energy systems to power our future. It is not an easy task. Global energy demand has grown by around 50% since the year 2000. And is projected to continue to grow by another 11 to 18% over the next 25 years. The International Energy Agency estimates that countries globally will add the equivalent of Japan's annual electricity demand to grids each and every year. And much of this increase in demand, close to 85%, will come from this part of the world, Asia. Yet the need to address climate change has become even more pressing. Global greenhouse gas emissions have jumped threefold in the past 25 years. And the last few years were among the hottest years ever recorded. To avoid the worst outcomes of climate change will require the majority of countries to achieve net zero emissions by 2050 or 2060. And there is no easy pathway to get there. Technology will be key. We will need to invest much more in renewable energy and low-carbon technologies. Regional power interconnectivity will also become more important to transmit renewable energies from where they are in abundant supply to the demand centers that may be located several hundred kilometers away. Nuclear energy will be an option that many countries have to seriously consider, as with carbon capture and storage solutions for sectors that are hard to abate. We will explore this and other important topics at SIEW 2025. This year, SIEW will celebrate Singapore's 60th years of independence. To honor this milestone, we have curated a special SG60 at SIEW showcase, highlighting our energy innovations and Singapore's energy transition. And delegates can also look forward to an SG60 theme gala reception. This year, we will also launch the SIEW Academy. The SIEW Academy is a prestigious platform that brings together a network of distinguished global energy thought leaders to shape the discourse and chart new pathways for our energy future. And we will share more details on the SIEW Academy on another occasion. We will continue our strong partnerships to co-host forums with the International Energy Agency, the International Renewable Energy Agency, and we will also partner Clarion Events, S&P Global Community Insights, and the Sustainable Energy Association Singapore to deliver specialized conferences on downstream, refining, LNG markets, and clean energy solutions. And this year, you can also look forward to a new bioenergy track at the Asia Clean Energy Summit. And in connection with SIEW, the SP Group will also host the Conference of the Electric Power Supply Industry. The biannual event brings together leading professionals of the electricity supply industry of East Asia and Western Pacific region. I'm also excited to share that our next SIEW Connect will take us to Kobe, Japan on 28 March, where we will partner Mitsubishi Power to discuss energy transition pathways in the Asia-Pacific region. Now let me conclude. Will we be able to envision and successfully achieve a shared energy future that is secure, sustainable, and prosperous? We can if we are able to partner industries and stakeholders to innovate and advance energy technologies. And we can do that if countries can come together to facilitate energy investments and interconnectivity. And we can achieve it if we can start taking actions today to build our future energy systems. So I hope all of you will join us at SIEW 2025 to jointly envision tomorrow's energy future and also take bold moves today to make that future a reality. So now it's my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Remy Eriksson on stage for his remarks. Remy, please.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to be here to take part in the global launch of Singapore International Energy Week 2025. I've been asked to share DNV's recent research into the energy transition captured in our Energy Transition Outlook to 2050, released in October last year. It's important to note that our outlook is not just a scenario. It is a forecast predicting what we in DNV see as the most likely transformation of the world energy system through to 2050, based on our research into policy, economic, and technology development. In our forecast, we state that global emissions from production and use of energy likely peaked in 2024. Admittingly, this is uncertain, but we find that 2025 is the year when global emissions are likely to start declining. Sadly, that decline is too slow. We estimate that we are heading for 2.2 degrees Celsius of global warming by mid-century. But peak emissions is an important milestone. It means renewable technologies are starting to replace fossil energy in absolute terms globally. And leading the renewable growth are solar PV and batteries. Solar installations have been surging over the past 2 years, and one reason for that is cheaper batteries, making 24-hour solar plus storage power more accessible. Battery prices have been falling so fast, so we are not many months away from battery prices passing the important $100 per kilowatt hour barrier, which is the price that starts to make upfront EV costs lower than internal combustion engine cars, $100 per kilowatt hour. China has been playing a significant role in the peaking of emissions. Their record EV sales means that Chinese petroleum demand is beginning to ebb away. Also, record solar installations are edging out coal in the power sector. In addition, highly competitive clean technologies from China are advancing the transition elsewhere too: solar, wind, batteries, EVs, even though they are facing tariff backlash in some regions. Not all renewables are enjoying high growth. Offshore wind has been hit by a mix of reliability, supply chain, and cost challenges. We have therefore adjusted our 2050 forecast for offshore wind down 18% versus earlier forecasts. although that still leaves room for more than tenfold growth in offshore wind by mid-century. And we are now seeing signs of recovery in Europe and Asia Pacific. What about hydrogen and carbon capture and storage? Many of the first commercial hydrogen projects have stalled or been abandoned due to costs or market uptake uncertainty. In our 2024 outlook, we revised our long-term forecast for hydrogen and its derivatives down from 5% to 4% of final energy demand in 2050. But make no mistake, there will be a hydrogen market, not as big one as one hope, but in certain regions it will be substantial. And in sectors like maritime and aviation, hydrogen derivatives will play a key decarbonization role owing to limits in other options. As we know, hydrogen and carbon capture and storage are critical for hard-to-electrify sectors. They're also relevant to hard-to-electrify regions. For example, Asia-Pacific faces unique challenges with islanded economies and widely varied distribution of renewable resources. DNV's white paper, to be released at Singapore International Energy Week later this year, investigates the infrastructure, requirements and economics of the future regional trade of new energy commodities like hydrogen and its derivatives, as well as CO2. Ultimately, the global energy transition is an infrastructure challenge, and it's critical that the infrastructure planning is done at a regional level. This is what was the key findings and insights from our ASEAN interconnector study last year. There we show that a regionally optimized approach will be a win-win strategy and can reduce the cost of fully decarbonization by $800 billion. To give an example, for Europe, interconnectors and shared hydrogen core networks offer essential flexibility and stability for a future energy system dominated by renewables. This approach will help Europe decarbonize and at the same time enhance its energy security. And energy security is the defining theme in the energy transition at the moment, and will be different things for different regions and for different countries and for different policymakers. But in the long term, I'm confident that there will be a convergence of opinion as technology-reliant technology and energy. In other words, renewable energy does what every tech sector do, become cheaper and cheaper and more efficient. On that note, I thank you for your attention and express my sincere wish that Singapore International Energy Week 2025 will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eriksson. I would now like to invite Ms. Servin Chua, Assistant Director, EMA, on stage for a presentation. Ms. Chua, please.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Serene from the SIEW organizing team, and I'll be bringing you through some quick highlights of SIEW. I know I'm standing between you and the reception, so I'll keep this short. So for those of you who are here for the first time, SIEW is Singapore's government flagship energy event, and we're into our 18th edition this year, which will take place from the 27th to the 31st of October. So in a glance, this is what we have lined up for you across the week, and we continue to engage strategic partners, including IEA and IRENA, to hold high-level discussions forums. So the theme this year, as unveiled by my CE earlier, is Envisioning Energy Tomorrow, Building Systems Today. And part of it, some of the highlights that we'll be putting across include the SG60 at SIEW Energy Showcase and also a gala reception in commemoration of Singapore's 60th year of independence. So, mentioned earlier, we will also be launching our SIEW Academy, and some of the conversations at SIEW will actually include deep dives into nuclear, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies. So the SIEW Summit would actually feature key discussion teams that would then delve into discussions on areas including strengthening regional interconnectivity, role of natural gas as a transition fuel, as well as how we can build a resilient energy system. We continue to bring in strategic partners to have conversations on areas such as clean energy, downstream natural gas, as well as other key topics now, including carbon capture and ammonia. So together at the same time, we have the Conference of the Electric Power Supply taking place in conjunction with SIEW. So what else you can look forward to are the other SIEW Connects in the lineup for the next few months. So as Steve mentioned earlier, the next one will be in Kobe on the 28th of March. So more details will actually be made available on our website as we work on it. So if you're interested to join us in profiling your innovations and technologies or what you're doing to help with the energy transition, do look out for our colleagues here, and then feel free to approach them for conversations. And last but not least, I think we have different sponsorship opportunities available. Let me sell this a little bit more. We have Hayden here in the room, so he's the man you should be looking for if you want to be branded at SIEW, have your thought leadership being profiled at SIEW, so he's the man to go to. So with this, I have come to the end of my sharing. So on behalf of the Energy Market Authority of Singapore, thank you for joining us today, and to DNV for sponsoring this event. So with this, we have curated some local specialty. Please help yourselves and enjoy the sessions ahead. Thank you.